Have you ever noticed that? You know, despite your best intentions, your life just seems to run on some kind of internal software.
Oh, definitely.
You consciously want one thing, maybe patience, but then you just snap. Or you plan to save, but the money just, poof, disappears.
Yeah, it feels like there are these hidden rules dictating things.
Exactly. Invisible rules. And often, they really don't help us achieve what we want as adults.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today, that's what we're diving deep into, those invisible rules. We're tackling the concept of key decisions.
Right.
These subconscious beliefs, these rules we picked up, often way back, that are quietly running our reactions and emotions today.
That's the core of it. And our mission here in this deep dive is really to unpack these foundational building blocks of who we are.
Oh, yeah.
We need to get how they're formed, sure, but also, and this is really the kicker from the source material, why these decisions made by a younger, less equipped version of us, why they're still totally available to be updated or, well, changed, as you might say.
So it's like figuring out how to debug our own emotional operating system.
Exactly like that. And the reason we can debug them is so important. It's because these decisions, they were made when our ability to think rationally, to see the big picture,
Right.
to handle big emotions, it was just really limited.
We were kids, basically.
We were kids.
Yeah.
So by their nature, the sources call them open decisions. They're ripe for revision now that we have an adult perspective.
Okay, let's nail down the definition then. Key decision, it sounds like, I don't know, choosing a career path, buying a house.
Yeah, it sounds like that, but it's actually much deeper. The source material is really clear on this.
So what is it then?
It's entirely subconscious. These aren't rational, conscious choices at all. They are deep emotional choices.
Emotional, okay.
Formed because of really strong, significant emotional events in our past, usually childhood. It's not about the event itself, though.
What's it about then?
It's about the meaning we gave that event, right in that moment.
Ah, okay. So, like, if a child gets yelled at constantly, the decision isn't just yelling is loud.
No.
It might be something like, I must be worthless, or I must have done something really wrong.
Precisely. It's the emotional interpretation that creates the rule.
Mm.
And once it's formed, that decision gets embedded deeply.
Like a core belief.
Exactly. It becomes a silent manager for your daily life. Something happens now, as an adult, and your subconscious instantly checks it against that old rule. Is this safe? Am I okay? Can I trust this?
And you mentioned these things are active, right? They're influencing us from the past. Is there a way to visualize that connection? How does the past decision affect right now?
Yeah, the source material uses the idea of a timeline, your personal timeline.
Okay.
These decisions, they sort of sit on that timeline at specific points in the past, but they're not just sitting there quietly.
No.
They're constantly sending out influences, like a radio tower broadcasting a signal into your present and future. We're living in the ripple effect, basically.
Even decades later.
Wow.
And that's why we can actually go back and deal with them.
Yeah.
Because they were made without all the facts
Yeah.
or the maturity.
That's the absolute crucial insight, yes. Provisional decisions, you could say.
Right.
Because they were made with that emotional and, cognitive immaturity, the file isn't really locked. They are open decisions.
Uh-huh.
We as adults today, we have the resources, the knowledge, the perspective, the feeling of safety that the child just didn't have back then.
So we can go back and kind of close the file with a new understanding.
That's the goal. Close it with an updated, more helpful understanding.
Okay, so if that's how they impact us,
Yeah.
how do they actually get stamped in? What kind of situation creates one of these rules?
Well, it mainly happens through two different emotional pathways.
Two pathways.
The first one is usually tied to a single, really difficult or traumatic emotional event.
Like a big T trauma.
Could be, yeah. Or just something that felt overwhelming to the child. Fear, threat, pain, deep frustration, especially if there wasn't a supportive adult around to help them make sense of it.
Okay, that makes sense. And the second way is different, more subtle.
Much more subtle, yeah. It's not necessarily one big, awful event. It's the pathway of recurring daily stuff.
Recurring, like a pattern.
Exactly. A series of small, maybe individually insignificant events, but they happen consistently, over and over. And these small incidents, they build up, they create this undeniable story in the child's mind about how the world works and, where they fit in.
Let's make this really concrete.
Mm.
The source material had some good examples,
Yeah.
right? starting with that first pathway, the trauma one.
Absolutely. Let's take the example of a child who experiences what feels like severe abandonment. Maybe parents working incredibly long hours, multiple jobs.
Okay.
So the child feels isolated, alone for long stretches. Now, the child doesn't think, oh, my parents are really working hard to provide.
No, of course not.
They internalize a decision like, I am not important enough. Or maybe people can't be trusted to stick around.
Wow.
And that decision then travels with them right into adulthood, messing with their self-worth, maybe sabotaging relationship.
And the adult has no idea that this core belief started way back then. Okay, what about the other pathway? The recurring events. The financial example was interesting.
Yeah, that one's powerful too. Imagine a child growing up in a house where money was always a source of stress. Constant arguments, tension, maybe shouting.
Okay, I can picture that.
That consistent environment, day after day, it leads the child to subconsciously decide something like, money's bad, or having money makes people fight, or even rich people must be unhappy or mean.
Right.
So then as an adult, that deeply buried belief can cause all sorts of subconscious financial self-sabotage.
Like what?
Like maybe they constantly find themselves in debt no matter how much they earn, or they turn down promotions or opportunities without really knowing why.
Because subconsciously, they're avoiding becoming that bad person associated with money stress.
Exactly. The system is trying to protect them from recreating that childhood tension, even if it means staying broke. It's fascinating, isn't it?
It really is. And quickly, there was a third way mentioned, too, about authority figures.
Right, briefly. We can also just internalize decisions made for us or beliefs held by our parents, teachers, other authority figures.
Like we just absorb their rules.
Yeah, we assume they know best, so we adopt their limiting beliefs as our own programming, even if those beliefs don't actually serve us later on. We kind of outsource our rulemaking.
Okay, so we've got these deep, often hidden, open decisions running things. Let's talk about the impact more. How do they actually control our reality now and limit our freedom?
Well, they tend to create restrictions in three main ways.
3 ways. Good.
First, fixed behavioral patterns. They push us into repeating the same automatic responses over and over.
Like procrastination or getting angry easily.
Exactly. Avoidance, anger, procrastination, people-pleasing, whatever the pattern is. Second, they cause recurring negative emotions.
That feeling of anxiety or frustration that just keeps coming back.
Yes. That cycle of anxiety or frustration or shame or maybe guilt, that seems to pop up regardless of what's actually happening externally.
And the third impact. This one seems really tricky. It sounds like it stops us from seeing things clearly.
That's the interpretation of reality bit. It's like wearing distorted glasses.
Mm-hmm.
We interpret current events in a way that actually reinforces the original limiting decision.
So it creates a confirmation bias.
Totally. If your key decision deep down is, I am unworthy, your brain will scan every single interaction for proof of that.
Oh, wow.
Every neutral comment, every slightly delayed email reply, every time someone seems busy, it all gets filtered through that unworthy lens and becomes evidence confirming the old belief. Even if the reality is completely different, you're actively seeking proof for the outdated program.
Okay, this is maybe the hardest part for me to get my head around. If something causes so much pain, like chronic anxiety or shame, why on earth would our minds keep it? There must be some hidden benefit, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's what the sources call the emotional catch.
The emotional catch.
Oh, the obvious downside is the pain, the limitation. But there's almost always a hidden secondary gain. And usually that gain is about safety.
Safety, how?
The limiting belief, even though it hurts, functions as a kind of protective mechanism, albeit a really flawed one.
Can you give an example?
Sure, think about the belief, I am not good enough. The pain is obvious, it causes low self-esteem, maybe stops you from going for things.
Right.
The benefit, though, the catch, is that this belief prevents you from taking big risks, like launching that business idea or asking for that huge promotion or maybe even committing fully in a relationship. By avoiding the risk, you protect yourself from the possibility of failure or rejection.
Which the subconscious sees as a massive threat.
An existential threat,
Right.
potentially. So the belief hurts, yes, but on some deep level, it feels like it's keeping you safe, sheltering you.
That changes everything. So the limiting belief isn't just a mistake or a flaw. It's an old defense system that's just past its expiration date.
Precisely. It served a purpose once, or at least the child mind thought it did. And knowing that is key to changing it.
Which brings us to the solution. Changing the internal software. Updating the program.
Exactly. The whole goal is to move beyond that old, flawed programming and start living from conscious choice. to finally close these open decisions.
So if the decision is open, how do we actually do that? How do we make the change? Is there a process?
There is. The sources talk about a process often called re-imprinting or something similar. It involves using your mature adult mind to revisit and resource your past emotional state.
Okay, walk us through it. How does it start?
It starts with identification. You have to pinpoint the specific limiting belief or the problematic pattern first. You need to know which open decision you're working with.
Makes sense. Find the bug.
Find the bug. Then, once you have it, you need to return.
Return where?
Back to the past. You visualize as vividly as possible the specific moment and the circumstances when that original belief was formed, the root event.
Okay, so you go back in your mind. Then what?
Then, and the step is really vital, you connect. You need to allow yourself to experience the emotions, the sensations, the perspective of your younger self in that moment.
Feel the original feeling again, like the fear or sadness.
Yes. Not to get stuck there, but to really understand the emotional source code of that program. Where did it come from? What did it feel like?
But the power isn't just in feeling it again, right? It's what comes next.
Exactly. You don't stay stuck in the past feeling. You bring your adult perspective to it. Now, as an adult, you can see the bigger picture.
Like understanding why parents were stressed or that someone's reaction wasn't actually about you.
Precisely. You understand the context, maybe the positive intentions behind others' actions, even if clumsy, and crucially, you recognize the resources that your younger self lacked at the time.
Resources like confidence or safety or just information.
All of the above. Knowledge, perspective, safety, love, confidence, reassurance. And this leads to the next step. Give resources.
So the adult you gives the younger you what was missing.
Exactly. Your adult self actively brings those needed resources, whatever they might be, to your inner child in that past moment. You essentially provide the support that wasn't there originally.
Okay, I see. You're changing the conditions of the original event, retroactively.
In a way, yes. You're allowing for a reinterpretation. And because of that new resource, that new support, the inner child can now make a new decision.
Ah, so they make a different choice this time.
A new, empowering choice. A decision about themselves, about others, about the world that actually serves them now, something aligned with their adult values and goals.
That's powerful. And is that the end?
Almost. The final step is generalization. You take that new decision, that new feeling, and you mentally rehearse applying it across different areas of your life.
Like imagining using it at work, in relationships, thinking about the future.
Exactly. You imagine living life with this new, updated belief system firmly in place. You experience the positive future results in your mind. It helps to lock in the change across your whole system.
So you're basically installing the software update everywhere.
You got it. Installing the update, making sure it runs smoothly everywhere.
That whole process. It really sounds like a way to free yourself from those old chains, doesn't it?
It really is. These key decisions, they form the foundation, but the key is realizing they can be rebuilt.
Right.
When you understand them and consciously work with them, you move away from just reacting automatically.
And towards actually choosing how you want to live, consciously. Creating a reality that feels more aligned.
That's the ultimate empowerment, isn't it? Realizing you're not permanently stuck with the fearful, protective decisions your younger self made. You get to choose your programming now.
Definitely. So as we wrap up, if these decisions are sitting there on your timeline, sending out these signals, maybe consider this.
Yeah.
What's one recurring negative feeling in your life right now? Maybe it's anxiety, frustration, maybe shame, maybe that feeling of not enough. Could that recurring feeling be the strongest clue you have? The signpost pointing directly toward your most influential open decision.
That's a great closing thought. That persistent